Well, crack my cream cannon clear in half. It's the Krusty Fox, back once more with And Just Like Crap, an only mildly corrosive recap and review of Sex and the City revival series And Just Like That. This week is the first part of the long overdue series finale, or to put it another way, half of a very haphazard attempt to bury this thing before it's even stopped twitching. Grab a shovel and let's get into it. This week, Carrie's penultimate bunch of tosh begins in a bakery. The kind of place that the show frequently tells us that she and the other ladies spend loads of time in, but which their waistlines tell us they might occasionally pass by, sniff the air and maybe lick the windows, but otherwise haven't set foot inside for the last 40 years. I can't complain though, because it allows actress Jackie Hoffman, playing the bakery's owner, a chance to do what she does best: violently pissed off service industry worker. My personal headcanon is that this is the same character she played in 30 Rock.
Behold, the splendor of my beginning!
Glad to see she's doing well. Carrie's in there ordering a pile of Thanksgiving pies. Her contribution to Miranda's hosting effort for whatever year this is meant to be. She expresses confusion over the appropriate pie-to-person ratio, because she's not a baker. Fair enough, you've never baked before, but have you eaten before? Jesus. Perhaps wanting to remember all those other times that she didn't eat, Carrie's bakery of choice is in her old neighbourhood, which allows her to wistfully wander past her old apartment, where she bumps into poorly written and thinly veiled ghost of her youth, Lizette. Lizette informs us that she's just out of a 7-month relationship, which, for the first time, gives us a very rough sketch of how long a period of time this season has taken place over. That provides Carrie with an opportunity to claim that she's just out of a 22-year one herself. I am fairly sure that most relationships don't count time spent in a marriage to somebody else, but you do you, Bradshaw. Lizette also invites Carrie to an early Friendsgiving party. A huge mistake, because it's just the opening Ms. Bradshaw needs to make it all about herself. She's having doubts, you see, about her life choices. She bought the Gramercy house for Aidan and his family of cast-iron arguments for extremely late-term A-words. And now that they're out of the picture, she's a woman without a plan. But with an old apartment that she could annex like the Eastern European dictator she almost certainly was in a past life. It gets worse when, as predicted, she admits that she's also been hoping that Duncan might be lured back from London by the distant siren call of her ham wallet. No such luck, says Seema, who explains that the basement apartment's owners want to sell, because he won't renew his lease. Just like he told her he wouldn't. I guess we can add listening comprehension to the list of things she never learned at school, along with creative writing and sex ed. The inevitable get-together at the old apartment is one of those rare occasions when I'm right there alongside Carrie. If I were her, I'd have put Lizette's head through every badly installed dividing wall I saw in there. It's now somehow 2 separate apartments because Lizette apparently can't bear to live alone, but can bear living in what amounts to an extended closet. Maybe she really is the reincarnation of Carrie's youth. I was also a little taken aback by Lizette's only real conversation being a series of questions about whether Carrie, as an older woman living alone, ever worries about the litany of things someone might do to her if they ever broke in, and that her roommate has a bunch of guns lying around. Is Lizette going to kill her? There'd be a sort of twisted circular irony to the whole thing, if so. I'm kinda here for it. The fact that the old iconic apartment is featured at all gives a fairly clear indication of what's going to happen by the end of the series. In addition to Carrie's abrupt disinterest in her multi-million-dollar house, now that there isn't a man's flapdoodle in or under it. But the one thing that we can be sure of is that, whatever they do, it won't be realistic or satisfying. The true and just like that experience. This week in Who Gives a Shit news, anybody who has seen the promo for next week's final installment of And Just Like That might just have noticed that it's labelled the season finale rather than the series finale. But sure, Michael Patrick King definitely decided to end it there while he was writing it. No sudden, unexpected cancellations to see around these parts. Move along, please. While we're on the topic, this is another episode running at less than 30 minutes, which doesn't really speak to a show still enjoying the full confidence and financial backing of its network. Or, for that matter, a show that gives one single shit about wrapping things up properly as opposed to urgently. Liza Minnelli lies, everyone. Speaking of, Giuseppe proposes to Anthony in the changing room at Bergdorf. Just the sort of fairy tale romance you'd expect from a f***ing poet. Anthony, despite saying yes, immediately has doubts because of how much he's having to mother his betrothed since they moved in together. Who knows which way they're going with this, but I will allow it because of the selection of excellent faces we got from Mr. Marantino all the way through this episode. Top marks. Herbert is dealing with last episode's election loss like an overgrown baby, begrudgingly muttering conciliatory platitudes about his apparently tacky opponent in public, but unleashing the sore loser he truly is on Lisa in private. While he's absent this episode, Hot to Trot editor Marion returns for the finale, so we'll see whether this is what pushes Lisa to get some dressing on the side next time. Seema exchanges I love yous with Adam after he goes downtown in the shower, which to be fair would probably move me to that too. Following which, he doesn't rinse off his beard. Just pointing it out. He also invites her to Thanksgiving with what we're left to assume is his equally crystal-loving, smelly armpitted sister in the next episode. Anticipate trouble. And gallery owner / Charlotte employer Mark Kasabian shows up for what appears to be no reason, but it seems he's being positioned for a more prominent role in the finale. It's always nice to see Victor Garber, but what a waste of his talent this role has been. Fingers crossed he becomes Firestorm in the next episode, and nukes Carrie's house. Carrie's regrettable foray into novel writing meets with a barnstorming response from her editor, with one exception. She considers it a romantic tragedy. This is because, since it's set in 1846, the woman ending up alone would be received very differently than it would be in the modern world. But apparently she has no issue whatsoever with what looks like an extremely long story, in which the protagonist is only ever referred to as the woman. Superb editing skills on display there. Now, if I may labour the point for a moment, this is so very obviously a meta commentary on what And Just Like That is gearing up to do with Carrie by series end. But if we put that aside and just think in universe for a second, the people reading this abomination won't have quantum leaped here from the 1800s, will they? If they can't deal with the nuance of modern norms applied to period settings, then there's probably some colouring books nearby that would be a better choice for them. And don't worry, I caught what else they're trying to do with this. This is a giant middle finger to the likes of me, who for several years now have made it their business to poke fun at the past versus present conflict in both a rewatch of Sex and the City and the struggles with that history which And Just Like That inflicted upon itself. Just like Carrie's opinion of her editor, the writers seem to be under the impression that we just don't get what they've been going for this whole time. I got it just fine, in the same way as I might get the flu. Or the clap. Despite her misgivings about it, Carrie does make an attempt to take the note and write a more hopeful epilogue to her wretched tome, in which an eligible bachelor makes a sexus ex machina return to New York from London. Where does she get these ideas? Will the woman go the honest route and end up alone, or will Duncan be flying back for round 2? We'll find out for sure next episode. Hopefully that's enough time for me to bribe a vet and secure a heavy dose of horse tranquilizer. Miranda's objective insanity flows like a tsunami of shite into this episode from the last, when we learn that, not content with just on-screen hijinks, she's been meddling in son Brady's life off-screen too. Rather than do something useful, like having him chemically castrated, she's instead invited the hippy-dippy hemp sack her bastard grandchild will be delivered in, Mia, to Thanksgiving dinner, and without telling Brady. A move I can only assume was motivated by a desire not to see him pulling his annoying little shocked Pob face again. Which of course he does when he eventually discovers what she's done and confronts her during a date night with girlfriend Joy, whose dogs, even taking their anxiety-prone breed into account, have spent the duration of this relationship with the same look of terror they'd have if Joy accidentally sent them into one of her BBC interviews. Not that their owner seems to be faring much better. Joy, who did warn Miranda that she wasn't big into family stuff, seems to be praying for a freak lightning strike or spontaneous human combustion. Unfortunately for her, the only X-Files adjacent goings-on in that apartment are the ones caused by the poisoned genetic well that Hobbs Jr. climbed out of. And that's about it really. It's all set up in the Hobbs camp this week. Never fear though, in addition to the Baby Brady remake drama playing out, Steve's also back next time. It's like a melting pot. If what you'd melted was an explosively unstable collection of trash. Can't wait. Well, we wouldn't be on the runway to a series finale without And Just Like That taking one final chance to remind us that they ran out of ideas for Charlotte and Harry before the show even got the green light. For we are, once again, up to our collective tits in gender-blending conflama. Non-binary child Rock, as threatened, takes the lead in their school's staging of Thoroughly Modern Millie, which presents two issues. First, if Rock was their strongest all-round performer, that school needs to sink some serious money into its arts program. And secondly, seeing them all dressed up in 1920s feminine glam has Charlotte freaking the f*** out about the life they might have had. Alright, I'm gonna nail my colours to the mast here. I have zero experience in raising children, a fact I am and will continue to be extremely proud of. Nor do I have any first-hand knowledge of what it means to be or be around a non-binary person. But from Charlotte's perspective, it's f***ing clothes, man. If you're gonna end up in a padded cell because the fruits of your fangita aren't going to wear a lot of fringe or sport a tight bob, that sounds remarkably like a you problem. Get over it. Far more urgent a problem, but way lower on Charlotte's priority list, is the continuing post-surgery failure to launch of Harry's horseneck clam. So, Charlotte's Season 1 gender panic gets retained, but not her disturbing Season 2 campaign on the wonders of throat yogurt. Gotcha. Charlotte closes out the episode staring mournfully at a bunch of pictures of Rock's full femme fantasy she press-ganged Carrie into taking during a truly rueful rendition of Forget About the Boy. Something I'm sure Julie Andrews and Sutton Foster would both be doing if they ever caught wind of this crime against musical theatre. Not even a single. Raspberry! For shame. One last episode to go. And so this video's question is, where do you think this is all going for our leading ladies? Will they actually allow Carrie to end up alone? Will Miranda try to trade her grandchild for some astrology charts and a palm reading? Will Charlotte manage to get her husband's Helmut the One-Eyed German back to full working order? Let me know in the comments below, and the best will take us right up to completion next time. Either way, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as ever, if you can't be good, be crusty.